The Dershow.
Israel has to be permitted to destroy Hamas. If Israel does not destroy Hamas, Hamas has made a promise, and you have to make sure. Elie Wiesel once said during the Holocaust, or after the Holocaust, in reference to the Holocaust, he said, always believe the threats of your enemies more than the promises of your friends. America is breaking its promise. It allowed a UN resolution to go through calling for a ceasefire now, which would give Hamas a victory. Hamas believes it has a victory. Hamas believes that it benefited from this. Yes, a lot of Palestinians were killed. They don't care about that. A lot of Israelis were killed. They don't care about that. What they care about is that President Biden has allowed Israel's responses to create a division between America and Israel. That's a victory for Hamas. I have to tell you, if President Biden had stuck to his guns and had continued to say what he said on day one, on October 7th, 8th, and 9th, that Israel must be permitted to destroy Hamas, this war would be over by now. Hamas would understand that it can't win. It can't divide America and Israel. But now that Hamas thinks it can divide and it can win the war of public opinion on college campuses where these young 18, 19-year-old Hitler youth and Stalin youth and Mao youth are marching in favor of Hamas, when they see that, they think they're winning. They don't care that thousands of Hamas murderers and terrorists have been killed and captured. They don't care about that. And they don't care that citizens of Gaza have been killed and wounded. They don't care. As long as they can separate Israel from the United States, as long as they can get CNN to tell only one side of the story, as long as they can get the New York Times to tell only one side of the story, that's a victory for Hamas. And if Hamas leaders are sitting around now saying, should we do this again? And somebody says, well, but look at how many people were killed. Hamas's answer is, let's do it again. Look at what we've gained. Look at the advantages we've gained. It really takes going down to this area, to the Nova Film Festival, to the Be'eri kibbutz. The Be'eri kibbutz was a peace kibbutz. Almost all the people in it were in favor of a two-state solution. These were people who went to the Gaza border. They hired people from Gaza at triple and quadruple the pay to come to Israel to help them. They gave them food. They gave them medical benefits. And what did the Hamas people, these are the civilians, not the terrorists, these are the civilians. What did the Hamas people do, the Gazan people do, who got jobs working in the kibbutz or in other areas of Israel? They spied for Hamas. They provided information. They provided information about the vulnerabilities of the Israeli protective instruments. They provided information about where people lived and where their safe houses were, and how to effectuate the killing. So again, we're not talking about totally innocent people the way they're projected in some of the media. We're talking about people on a scale of complicity, many of them closer to real complicity and guilt rather than total and complete innocence. Look, every time a child dies, it's a horrible, horrible tragedy. But every single death of a child is the fault of Hamas, because they're using these children as human shields. It's the dead baby strategy. They call it the CNN strategy. I call it the dead baby strategy. What they do is they put babies and children in harm's way. They use them as human shields. They hope and pray that Israel kills more Gazan children, and then they can parade these children out in front of CNN and say, oh my God, look what these terrible Israelis did. And CNN laps it up, buys into it, never explains that the reason this child died was because he or she was used as a human shield. So don't fall for the pretext. Don't fall for the plan, the tactic, the dead baby strategy, the CNN strategy. They're playing you. They're using you. And they're using these useful idiots, these young students from Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Stanford, these students who wouldn't know what river and what sea they were talking about. They wouldn't know the difference between Palestine and Palisades. These are total ignoramuses. I hope Israel ignores the UN resolution unless and until the hostages are returned.